my name is Jennifer Hathaway. I'm creating this video to give you a general overview of the New York State Science Learning Standards and some key items to keep in mind for the school year. I know that many teachers are a bit stressed right now about the new assessments that will be given next year, and then also the new investigations that were just released. So if you're a new administrator or if you don't have a lot of experience with these science learning standards, I'm hoping this video gives you a general overview of the background of the standards and then some resources that you can share with your teachers. So my goal is to make this video 10 minutes or less so that you can get what you need in a very short period of time. I know you're all super busy. So the first thing is that all of these are links that you can follow and then also share. Down here I have my contact information, and then I do have my resume linked. I don't want to take the time to get into my background, but the information is there for you if you're wondering. I'm going to start here with the general standards. So this link takes you to the PDF of the New York State Science Learning Standards. And if you've never seen these before, I want to give you a really general overview. I do offer PD to teachers where we dive into this a little bit more and I talk about the structure, but just a general overview of this should be plenty to get you started. So the standards are organized with many different boxes and different colors, and sometimes this can be overwhelming. I do have a page I'll share with you next with kind of a general pop-out boxes that give you a better idea of what each of these things means. But this top box right here gives you the top or key items that students should learn or understand at the end of the unit. Next, we have the blue box, which is the science and engineering practices, and that's new. So if teachers are looking at these standards for the first time, that's going to look unfamiliar to them. The middle box, though, is the disciplinary core ideas. This is what teachers are more used to. And these are just the general facts and information that students need to know in the unit. And then this cross-cutting concepts, this last green box over here, this is also something new with these new standards. So I want to talk to you just briefly about the blue and green boxes because those are new. So the blue box, these are skills that students need to learn or be proficient in order to be able to analyze data and, conduct investigations like a scientist. Basically, it's a scientific method broken down into skills that students should be practicing. Next, the cross-cutting concepts. These are really going to help students with that blue box. So starting at the younger grade levels, this is pre-K, we're really focusing on finding patterns, cause and effect. If we build those skills in students, then they will be better at analyzing data as they work up through their upper level content. And so as you go through the pages of these standards, you'll see that the science and engineering practices and the cross-cutting concepts will repeat over and over all the way up through grade 12, but you will be adding higher level skills as you work up through middle and high school. So I'm going to X that out. If you have questions on that, like I said, I can go into a lot more detail for you. And then the next document here, this document is something that I created with little pop-out boxes that gives a better idea of what each of these sections is providing for information. So with teachers, I usually start with this to kind of give a general overview before we dive into the details in the other in the PDF. Next is a link for the New York State Science page. So this page has lots of updates regarding science. Or if you looked at this in the last few years, it's changed quite a bit and it's getting more organized and much more user-friendly. So I don't always provide this link to teachers just because it's a lot of information and there's a lot here. So it's kind of time consuming to go through all of it. But the one thing, I usually pull out specific links for teachers and then put them on my slideshows based on what they need. But this is a great place to go as an administrator just to get a real general overview of what's coming up and what changes might be happening. So next up is the new test timeline, and this is something that I'm guessing you've all seen, but it's a really important chart. If you haven't seen it or if you have new teachers, this is something you definitely want to share with them. So this tells when each of the new tests will be implemented and rolled out. Next is an elementary summary chart. So if you're an elementary administrator, this is something that will definitely be helpful for them. A lot of times that 83-page document can be kind of cumbersome, and a lot of elementary teachers, for planning purposes, especially when developing a scope and sequence throughout the school year, this page can be really helpful because it's just a general outline or overview of those units. So when teachers are trying to figure out what to fit with their thematic units, or if they're trying to do cross-curricular work, this will really help kind of put it all on one page for them, and it's much more user-friendly than that larger PDF. It's really important that teachers do look at that other page of science standards. But this is a great overview to use, like I said, for some of that other work that they're going to be doing to build out their science content. Next up, this 3D learning. So a lot of administrators and some teachers that have been teaching science for a long time really want the background of why the standards look the way they do, or what is all of this based on. So three-dimensional learning is the concept that was used to kind of develop the new standards, with these three ideas being kind of at the core. So if this is something you want more information about, I've provided a link for you. And the last thing that is kind of like the hot buzz item right now is assessments. And so I know I'm getting lots of questions. So what I did is create a separate slideshow all about assessments and some really important information for schools and teachers. This is a separate video though. I did not want to make this first intro video too long. So that link is provided for you. You can click the play button and watch that video as well if it's something that you're interested in. So just a few takeaways for you as an administrator. First, I just want to make sure you know that I'm here to help. I can do emails with teachers. We can do a video chat for quick questions. I can customize PD for your district, video PD, in-person PD, whatever you want. I love to help. I've been teaching for 23 years, so I have a lot of experience, and it's great to be able to kind of help other teachers with that information. Second, it's going to be really important that teachers have lots of material support with these new standards. There's lots of supplies that are needed for the investigations, and then planning time is essential. This is a lot to digest and kind of work through, so that's my recommendation. Is those are two things that you really work on planning for right away: a budget for supplies, and then also time for teachers to kind of dive into the new investigations and get some PD with assessments specifically. And then the last thing is, when you're doing observations in the next couple of years, some of the key things that you want to look for, hands-on science is definitely key with these new standards. Students should have access to those hands-on experiences, not just in video. And they also, you really want students asking why a lot, all the time. So we want lots of open-ended questions. We want them kind of thinking through while they're learning science. So those are some of the key things to look out for. And like I said, I have lots more information to share. I can give you a lot more detail, but I wanted to keep this video short. So please reach out to me if you have questions, and may the force be with you as you navigate through the rest of the school year.